Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who has already, what do you already know about us? Don't know what the introduction was. So I'm just quickly telling you that we are a set of alumni from, it's closer? A set of alumni from all over the Europe, different backgrounds, different things, different age. In particular, I'm just mentioning, I'm the president currently of the Best Alumni Organization. We also have the treasurer here. There is Jeff, and and we have two members of the advisory board because we have two different boards. So we have Edu and Pierre. Thank you. I thought about what would be interesting for you to hear about different topics. I'm gonna cover a few of them. They are somehow connected one to the other. We will see if this line of thoughts will work with you like it works for me. Orders of magnitude. So what are the orders of magnitude? It is a topic that we study when we are all in scientific, mostly of us are in a scientific field, so we know what it is. But this is not scientific talk, so you can check on Wikipedia if you want to remember. But basically, it's about how much with numbers you can represent bigger and bigger orders of size of things. Yeah, of course. And there is some videos like this Power of 10 or the scale comparison app that can help you to actually see the size of things, so how big things are in real, to easily visualize them. And for a philosophical meaning, actually, here you cannot see very well, but if you Google pale blue dot, it's a book from Carl Sagan that was inspired by a picture. That's the picture that you cannot see there. A picture that was taken from the Voyager 1. That is the farthest object that a human being, mankind sent in space. It took that picture from some million kilometers from Earth, and in this picture, Earth is less than 1 pixel. So it's quite inspiring, the quotation that you can see on Wikipedia, or if you want to read the book, it's a very good book. Now, why I'm mentioning that? I'm mentioning that because I think that order of magnitude is something that we always need to keep in mind, especially when we start with critical thinking. Why critical thinking is important? Critical thinking has a lot of functions in life. But in part, I think that the main thing that we should remember is that if we want to have a free mind, and if we want to empower our decisions, so we are really deciding something, it's not someone else influence that is actually making us decide what to do. And finally, live happily because we are living with what we decided we want to do. There are a set of steps that we should follow. No need to read them, but many of them require understanding of the magnitude that we are actually talking about. Now, we are engineers, right? So when we are engineers, there is something that we use. We use mathematics to simplify the visualization of the size, the things that we are talking about, right? So with then 10 to the 4th is way more compact than writing 10,000, right? And the point is that both of those kind of notations are way easier than visualizing the actual visual notation. So that is 10. That is 10 to the 2nd. That is 10 to the 3rd. That is 10 to the 4th. So if we had to, every time that we want to say 10,000, visualize something like this, would be like impractical. So we use maths. That just provides a little number that makes us theoretically understand what are we talking about. But there is an issue, because if we just saw 10 to the fourth, before I showed you the picture, most likely you wouldn't have had a clear idea to compare that little square to that enormous square. In the last years, is that there is a spread of conspiracy theories, like even more than there used to be in the past. So, do you have, like, do you want to give a guess on how many conspiracy theories there are, like, sort of like big ones? How many big conspiracy theories there would be? Like, I would take... So, anyone? 20? The word, yeah, but I mean, how many conspiracy theories there are? So I don't know, you would say maybe there are like 5 or 6 big ones. Yeah? So there are at least 60. So there are at least 60 theories that are like thousands, if not millions of people believe in. So there are people who are actually spending their time, putting effort in believing and spreading some completely bullshit thing that is like doesn't have any backup in any field. So why is this? Generally, this is due to ignorance. It's like because just you don't know enough in that field, and then you think you can talk about it confidently because you read something or like someone told you something. One example, like, is the moon landing and the space exploration. So, for example, I met a friend, like recently, that I didn't meet for 10 years. We were at the university together. I don't know how, like while we were chatting and stuff, like she told me, yeah, you know, because that's all bullshit. Like, what is bullshit? Yeah, men never went to space. We were like, this is all built up show from NASA, blah, blah, blah. And I said, like, what? So we spent a lot of time, discussing and stuff, and this is not the only time that I went in this kind of like, what I would think was a ridiculous thing, but for many people that are even, quite educated in their field, they don't know enough in other fields, and it seems logical to think this way. Another thing is it's flat Earth, right? So how many things, for example, in our normal life would be different if the Earth was flat? Like the gravity wouldn't work, It's like this is something that should be automatically, clicking something in our mind. But if you are not aware of it, you simply don't think. But there is one thing that can easily stop you from legitimizing any of those things. Like for the example just before, it's impossible that there are so many thousands or hundreds of thousands of people involved in space industry, satellite industry, like NASA exploration and research and things, that can actually, lie about what they're doing. It's just too big. Like if you understand the sides of what you're saying, you realize that it's impossible. The same thing here. So, like, what is that then, like, brings, like, going back to the conceptual point, what is that brings people to believe that they can say this thing? People believe that they can say this thing because of this psychological bias that is called Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is an effect that says that the less you know about something, the more confident you feel about it. So there is this nice chart that shows how at the beginning of your expertise in something, your confidence is at the top. So when you start, getting to know something, you say, oh, fuck, I know a lot of stuff. Like, I am really knowledgeable about it. I can talk about it. But then when you start going deep in the topic, then you realize that the thing is not exactly like you were thinking at the beginning. And now we have problems in politics because there are politics that are like politicians that are actually like behaving like this normally. We have an example here. Maybe you know this guy. I don't believe in climate change. It's like, is there something to believe? Or is it just the fact that you are completely ignorant in the matter and you don't want to learn about it? You know? This is one. We have other examples. I live in UK. We have, like, when someone comes, like, to speak with these guys, he presents himself with a cup of tea just to like legitimize the things that he's saying. And or in Italy, we have like people that speak about like, oh, what is the validity of vaccines with experts that have been working with medical things for years. So this is happening everywhere. The Dunning-Kruger bias is just one of the biases that you can find, for example, on this website, yourbias.is, and is added to a set of like logical fallacies that you can have while you are reasoning on things, yourlogicalfallacies.com. There are many. There are actually quite a lot of those. I would really advise you to give a look at them and I have them printed in my room. Every time I think about something is that I'm falling in one of those. So this brings us to how we use our time. So do you know how big is your life? How long it is? So there is a guy, it's called Tim Urban. He has a very nice blog. It's called The Wait But Why. He also did a TED Talk about procrastination. And what he did, he visualized, like this is a calendar in which every box that you cannot see very well, it's 1 week of our life. It's not that many. It's like, yeah, it's a few boxes. And if you see, this is the normal life of an American in average things. So we should be, okay, you guys should be around like the, between the green and the yellow bit. I am already like at the end of the orange maybe. So, you know, a big part of it is already gone, especially given that this is 90 years. And most of the people die when they are around like 75, so. It's quite important. Did you actually think on how you are using that time or how you are gonna use it later? So here it comes to like, are you thinking too big? Is the project that you have in your mind too big to be achieved? Probably not. Because when we see something big, like, oh, building that bridge, it's like, oh, fuck, this is like too big. I cannot manage it. It's impossible. Like, but in reality, it's just people like us that did that bridge. It just happened. Like 150 years ago, that bridge was built. Divide et impera said, I don't remember which Roman emperor was. I think it was Augustus. But basically, you need to split the problem in smaller problems and realize how much effort you need to put in each of these sections. And like you realize that everything is possible to do. So how to use the time on your favor? The favor, like the time has to be used in a way that, okay, you need to try to like identify the project that you want to work on and start dedicating time to it, start to work on it as soon as possible. Like procrastination doesn't work. You need to start. You need to dedicate constant time to it. You need to allocate. So you know the boxes that we saw before? We should have the same kind of boxing for each week, for each day. So in your day, you have this amount of boxes of time. How many of these boxes every day I allocate to that project? You need to be realistic, and you need to be constant. If you do that, you will actually manage to start making this project grow. Then it comes the smart bit. So how do I make it grow by itself? Like in finance and like personal finance even, how do I make the money work for me? How do I make my, like the amount of money that I have to grow by itself? In what do I have to invest in order to leave the money and make it become more? But in everything, you need to find the ways to delegate or to automate. So probably that time should be spent on that. And eventually, it will happen. The point is that you need to start early, because the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, says a Chinese saying. But the second best time is actually now. So, thank you. Yeah, this was the end of the talk. I don't know, I hope this will be useful for you. And at this point, I want to tell you what is that I have been spending some time on in the last months. And I've been spending some time on Best Alumni Network. So I can tell you that that is our new logo. We had a contest that just finished, and this one was elected. No one knew it, not even the alumni, so this is new for them as well. There are several reasons that put me in a situation in which I wanted to invest time in this. I think that we are in a society that is changing in several ways, and I realized that because of the 33% rule, that says that this is a rule that is known in some environments more than others. You need to spend 33% of the time with people that have more knowledge than you in some fields, 33% of the time with someone who is at your level, and 33% with someone who has to learn from you. This is because you want to keep learning, you want to have a good time with the people at the same level, but you want to also keep teaching. And all of this is part of your well-being, intellectual well-being. And selecting the people that you want to stay with, it's hard, especially when time is against you, because you have your 8-hour work day, then there is family and all of the things to do. And having a network of people that have the same background and can actually share with you many memories, many things, but mostly the same spirit, the best spirit, I value it a lot. For me, many of my best friends come from Best. And I hope that many other people can have the same luck that I had in having such a possibility to know other people and keep this going on. So I want to just close the conversation, not really a conversation, the monologue by recognizing the fact that there may be, we have seen here, in this couple of days, that there may be some differences, and there may be some sort of contrasts, between alumni and delegates, or students. But I think what we should try to do is to always talk and take the best out of it. So if there is something that is not working out, let's talk about it. Let's fix it. We are all grown up, and we are even more grown up So I'm quite sure that we can handle any issues, but mainly we should work together to improve what we are all able to improve. Like, there is a lot of experience here. There is an issue, there is a strategic issue, there is a financial issue. Probably the alumni are a very, very good resource to ask for help to actually try and fix things. So, said that, I hope you enjoyed and you are enjoying our company here, and I hope that I will be able to meet you all soon. And thank you.